Well, the DICT has done a lot, obviously, in terms of supporting the healthcare industry, particularly the entire IT-BPM. Because if you look at the IT-BPM, subsector lang niya yung healthcare. So there are other areas that we support. So from animation, game development, software, global in-house, anything that is on the ICT side, the DICT supports it because it's one of the main mandates. And I think one of the major things na you will expect this afternoon sa forum is when the different agencies together with the industry presents ano ba yung meron sa Pilipinas. Kasi daming nagtatanong, they will always ask, ano ba, pag sinabing healthcare, papadala lang tayo sa ibang bansa, that's the only thing we do.
Ang mga nurses.
Yes. But unfortunately, we can also have the same opportunity at the comfort of their own homes in the Philippines. And that is something that was brought about by the entire IT-BPM industry. And we have other government partners present. So andyan si PEZA, andyan si DTI, of course our department, the DICT. We all work together to ensure a holistic ecosystem for the healthcare industry. Take for instance, for the side of the ICT, we're giving out the hard infrastructure, which refers to the internet, the connectivity, as well as the soft infrastructure. When we talk about the soft infrastructure, this refers to, let's say for instance, one of our program, the Digital Cities program. In this particular program, as I mentioned kanina, Johan, we're not focusing anymore on the metro areas. We're giving and extending the opportunity to the rural areas in the Philippines. So even in the countryside, meron ng opportunities on the healthcare. And from our program alone, we have about 7 digital cities that are focusing on the healthcare out of our 31 digital cities. So if you can imagine, 7, that's like, if you do the math, about 1/3 of the entire Digital Cities program is focusing on healthcare. That simply is a testament of how the healthcare industry is really a vital aspect of the entire IT-BPM. I'm not going to give the numbers. JD here from the industry can actually give you the figures, but to tell you honestly, World Bank studies tells you that the healthcare industry services for the Philippines is gonna make it big for the country in terms of IT-BPM. But of course, you know, the contact center is still there to be the major driver. But in terms of raking in the big numbers for the revenue, you will see a lot of contribution from the healthcare industry.
Okay, let's listen in to the HIMAP Executive Director and Board of Trustees, si John Dave Dueñas. Give us the figures.
Okay.
Nako, delikado to.
So
Baka ibang figure ang bibigay mo sa amin, ha? Yung talagang figure ng healthcare activity.
I think what I could start with is to talk about first, have a step back in terms of how big the IT-BPM industry is. Yung pagkaintindi kasi natin, pag sinabi nating IT-BPM is call center, and then that's just it.
That's it.
Right now, it has evolved into so many aspects of business process management. It goes with knowledge processing, process outsourcing. It goes into the IT process outsourcing. The entire industry was actually able to bring in $38 billion in the Philippines. Yes. And out of that $38 billion in terms of revenue, which made us one of the priority sector in the economic drive of the Philippine government, 4.2 billion of that came from the healthcare subsector. And that entire industry actually hired 1.8 million FTEs. But out of that 1.8 million FTEs, or full-time equivalent or full-time employment, we were able to bring in 190,000 of that on the healthcare subsector. So when you do the math, yung subsector namin yung pinakamaliit, pero kami yung pinaka-high value.
Yes.
So parang from 190,000 full-time employees, ang nabitbit namin is $4.2 billion to the Philippine economy in the year 2024.
Wow.
So for this afternoon, I think we would be revolving on the talk about how the government agencies actually helped us, expand and get into so many verticals on that spectrum. But at the same time, also we wanted to talk that there are a lot of professionals in the Philippines who would always think that the US is, the dreamland to be in. I've experienced that myself. I moved here in October, and Jhino is a good friend. I would always tell him, it's a different culture. You don't just come here for your financial capital, but also your cultural capital for you to survive. But the IT-BPM sector could actually give you that opportunity already. You don't have to leave the country. You just have to link with us and see where we would be able to help you also at the end of the day. And that's where the forum would come in this afternoon. Like, what are those opportunities? How are we helping out the healthcare delivery network in the US? Which, by the way, I would want to highlight that, the Philippines is second to the largest pool for US registered nurses, second to the US.
Of course.
And when we talk about nursing, there's bedside care, and there's also those functionalities which are behind bedside care. When you call up for your appointment, when you call up for classification of your insurance, if it can be covered or a procedure is covered, you might not have any idea that you're talking to a Filipino IT-BPM personnel over the phone. And there are lots that we are actually offering on the table. There are clinical trials that are already being monitored by Filipinos back home, which are being done here in the US, but the recording is being done in the Philippines. And I think that's pretty much how it has evolved to not just quote-unquote call center functionality, but moreover in a more complex, and putting in so much, I think, into that. We don't just bring in the skill, but I think the main factor why it worked so successful is the fact that nobody, or no race, if I may say this sounding bragging, could put the term care on healthcare more than how Filipinos would do it.
By the way, we have a question coming from Kuya G. Gilbert. It's time for your first question.
Well, I was thinking that this healthcare is so basically it's like home health services and hospice services
here in the US.
Here in the US would use the services out there in the Philippines. This is what you're saying.
Kuya G, it's more on. Okay, first we have to identify the players within the healthcare delivery network. You have the healthcare provider, and then you have the healthcare payer. So payer goes with your insurance companies, Medicare, Medicaid, and then your provider goes with your hospital, hospice care, assisted living. All of those, can it be Filipino owned or nursing homes and that. But there are functionalities behind it that can be outsourced, but not all functionalities that are being outsourced can be offshored, meaning can be taken out of the US because of some regulation. But these functionalities that we offer covers from revenue cycle management, meaning processing of the claims, of submitting it to the insurance companies, so that we would be able to counter check. There would be no denials, there would be no returns, and there would be no adjudication on the insurance claims. So we help on the payer, on the provider side, and on the payer side also we have some aspects of those functions that are being offshore to the Philippines. So there's a quality check on the documentation, clinical assisted, automated, artificial intelligence assisted clinical documentation, and that's being done also in the Philippines. So the whole spectrum is covering that on the revenue cycle management. Then we have life sciences and pharmacovigilance, meaning these are the clinical trials, when it comes to pharmacy benefit management, and then there's clinical assistance or clinical note and documentation assistance, and then we also have the last one, which is the biggest factor right now, which is the healthcare IT.
Okay, John, paghandaan mo itong next question na to, ha? Kasi maraming Pilipino na nanonood sa atin.
Parang pakakantahin ka na dyan.
Kanta si John.
My way naman.
My way na ito. Mga kababayang walang kaba, magandang morning dyan sa California, Adele Ordinario. And si Judeline Franco po ay siyempre healthcare, caring for health din ito. Thank you, Judilyn, for watching. And si Isabella Bata dyan sa Hollywood, California. And to mention si Katats Castillo. Thank you for watching. Taga Ahern ito Ahern. Tama ba? Tama siguro, Katats, no? And si Gina Dumadag naman ay nanonood po, Finland. Yeah, Finland. Thank you very much for watching Finland. And Judilyn sinabi ni Judilyn Franco dito, "Hi Dave, explain to them our HIMAP endeavors and we are very proud of the HIMAP leadership." Mamayang konti, pag-uusapan natin yan. And thank you very much again sa mga nanonood all over the world. And mga Pinoy, kung mayroon kayong mga questions about healthcare, especially sa dalawa nating guests today, John and of course Jhino, sasagutin nila yan. Ipadala po ninyo dito sa PHLV sa ating po namang magandang morning o sa inyong magandang morning America dito po naman sa PHLV Radio Las Vegas.
And speaking of that, Kuya Rex, may pumasok ditong tanong galing sa chamber natin. Probably any one of you gentlemen can answer this. Tinatanong nila dito, what are your expectations for the long-term impact of your roadshow today here in Las Vegas para sa Philippine IT-BPM industry? What do you think it's going to bring to that industry today?
I think if I would jump into the question, it's more than just, I think, providing jobs. That's why we're here. We're promoting what the Philippine capabilities are, especially with the support of the government agencies like the group of Director Jhino from the Department of Information and Communications Technology, the group of Department of Trade and Industry, and the Philippine Economic Zone Authority. But moreover, the long term really is to re-establish that the Philippines is actually a vital player in the healthcare delivery network. It's moreover trying to establish that testament that, you know, nobody could beat a Filipino nurse, whether we like it or not. Wherever you go,
Yay!
The best
wherever you go,
the best.
It's
The best
still the
pa rin.
best. Even though at times it's being underrated, you know. But the kind of care that we bring in is not just because we're instilled with that or trained. I mean, it's not just because we're trained with that skill, but it's actually instilled with us whenever, from the start that we grew up in
That's
the
our
Philippines.
culture,
Exactly. So when we try to put that into the picture and add that on the table and then present that in such a way that we're not just here to promote, you know, what are our capabilities, but to promote our culture on the onset, that this is what we do. It becomes now a leverage for us to promote that people could invest in the Philippines. People do not, you know, have to leave the Philippines on the talent side for them to get that kind of job security. There are so many things that has impacted so many lives that has improved because of the IT-BPM, especially on the healthcare subsector.
Okay.
That we're really looking forward to. And I think at the end of it also, on the other side of the coin, is that we're also impacting how healthcare is being done back home. And HIMAP's role is revolving towards promoting the Philippines.
Sandali. Ano yung HIMAP? Anong meaning ng HIMAP?
Okay. HIMAP is the Healthcare Information Management Association of the Philippines.
Right.
So we are the recognized subsector association that deals with the healthcare information management services under the IT-BPM.
Okay. HIMAP. Ang question dito, John and Jhino, ng mga nanonood sa atin dito, meron ba kayong relasyon sa PhilHealth?
Napaganon ako eh.
Tinatanong nila yun eh. Ha? Kayo ba may relasyon or affiliate kayo sa PhilHealth? Kasi ang PhilHealth, ang daming issue ngayon sa Pilipinas. Sagutin natin kung ano ang sagot ni John or ni Jhino.
Napatingin ako kay Director Jhino.
Napatingin kay Director Jhino.
Hindi kasi actually, to be honest, we were talking about it. We were talking about cybersecurity. Not so much on the issue about their funds right now being transferred to the National Treasury because we're not in the position to actually point it out. But I think relationship-wise, we don't. We have to be very upfront about it because we were actually discussing that last night on how those issues we faced back home in the past, like especially on the hacking and the ransomware. But I think, moreover, the target and the aim is to influence how our agencies are running in the Philippines. Because I think we are in a better position, and especially with HIMAP, we get to be exposed working with healthcare leaders, the likes of UHG, the likes of Elevance. These are the kind of clients that we have to deal with. And that exposure gives us a kind of authority to tell the agency as to how it's being done in the US.
Yeah, right.
When you talk about security, cybersecurity, when you talk about efficiency, when you talk about how better patient care or patient outcome is. And we're leading towards that. That's why we're working closely with government agencies. We're working with associations also within our level to be able to influence and impact how some of our institutions back home could also not just be affected by what we do, but for them to also be influenced on how things should be done. Dr. Jhino.
Sir Rex, I think just to add kanina on the question earlier, before I also give an answer to the PhilHealth, I think the main goal of this afternoon's forum is to really contribute, because there is a target that was set by the entire IT-BPM industry of 2.5 million jobs and $59 billion in revenue by 2028. So we're doing this. This has been done for a couple of years now. We're also doing different roadshows in the Philippines to really highlight the opportunities of the healthcare industry, because all of this, we want to contribute to the opportunity of, imagine, 2.5 million full-time jobs and $59 billion by 2028.
All right.
So I think that's the main goal of what we wanted to achieve, and this will be the impact of this afternoon's forum.
How many years na kayo nag-ooperate, John and Jhino?
The first, when was the first?
The first, what?
I think 2018 was the first.
2018?
No. I think the first time that I joined HIMAP for the HIMSS Roadshow was 2018. But before that, they've been
participating.
Okay.
HIMAP as a subsector, we've been in the existence for 22 years already. And as what I've mentioned, within the entire industry, kami yung pinakamaliit. Pero kami yung pinaka-aggressive right now in terms of expansion and growth. Salamat sa pandemic, we were given that chance to be given the opportunity.
Okay, so mga nanonood po at nakikinig sa PHLV Radio Las Vegas, kayo po naman nanonood at nakikinig po naman sa Magandang Morning America, dito po naman sa inyong himpilan. Ang Magandang Morning America ay para po sa inyo. And yung healthcare na pinag-uusapan natin ngayon with Jhino and John ay para po sa inyo. At ito naman, ang Ice Coffee Breaker na ito ay para po sa inyo. Ice Coffee Breaker muna tayo para hindi kayo aantukin dyan, lalo na sa Pilipinas, gabing-gabi na. Ito po ang ating Iced Coffee Breaker para po naman sa Marso 3, 2025. Para po sa inyo to, ha? Meron kaming natagpuan at na-meet na isang mayaman sa Egypt. Siya po naman Egyptian. Natural, Egyptian to. Galing sa Egypt eh. Sabi niya, I could buy any monument for $500. Ang sagot ko, ano yan? $500? Monumento? Sabi naman ng Egyptian, yeah. It turns out that it was a pyramid scheme.
All right, mga kaibigan, it is now 5 minutes after 8 o'clock in the morning, and Kuya Rex, healthcare ang focus natin ngayong umaga na to, and we're going to be talking to the officers of the Global Nurses Alliance Incorporated, based here in Las Vegas. They're going to be here just a little while, but in the meantime, kasama pa rin po natin dito sa radio station ang ating mga kaibigan from HIMAP and DICT, and singit natin ito, Kuya Rex, may nagtatanong dito sa ating ating feed ng PHLV. We mentioned now, Jhino and John, that this is a road show. Today you're in Las Vegas. Are you planning similar events in other locations here in the United States?
Actually, this was supposed to be a different 2 legs, right?
2 legs.
We were supposed to visit San Diego as well.
San Diego.
In the past, what we have done when HIMSS conference was done in Florida, we did a couple of stops. So may East Coast, may West Coast, but I think unfortunate because of the wildfires in San Diego. So we had to postpone yung San Diego leg. There was supposed to be a San Diego leg. During the roadshow, we visit different hospitals as well as network with different companies, conduct business-to-business matching, because we do have specific companies, members of HIMAP, joining us in this particular mission. So yun yung nangyayari. But I think very unfortunate because of the wildfires, we had to cancel out yung roadshow. But I think hopefully by next year we can still continue with that particular state visits that we usually do in terms of our roadshow.
Anyway, John is in
Based
Chicago. Based in Chicago.
So the person to do
madali.
that.
Madali lang.
Maybe you do one in the Midwest as well, and then kahit dun sa East Coast. No?
East Coast and Midwest.
Oh, yeah. But maraming salamat the gentlemen for joining us today. But before we let you go, we have been connected by our good friend Judeline Franco, who is from Bacolod, and we know that people and officials or local government officials from Bacolod are part of the delegation.
Yes.
We were just wondering what makes Bacolod stand out in the IT-BPM sector, that they have a delegation with you guys.
In as much as I would support that, again, Manay Judy, I call her Manay. She's from Bacolod. Taga Bacolod.
You're from Bacolod.
So, Region 6 is actually trying to position itself to be able to produce so many of our healthcare BPO sector employees to be coming from there. And then we wanted to be like a center of excellence to be able to provide and be able to attract more locators or investors to come in. And that's why I think the local government unit of Bacolod City is this is actually their second year to join. Last year they were with us also, for them to actually get a grasp in terms of how big really the market is.
How about the other regions, John? Sumasabay na ba sila on this particular program?
Definitely. Medyo aggressive lang masyado si Bacolod, na talagang even our outbound missions, they would say like we're willing to invest on it and capitalize on it. And as how Director Jhino pointed out, there are 8 members of the association who are with us. These are 8 strong companies that are providing revenue cycle management, pharmacovigilance and life sciences, and clinical documentation and healthcare IT services that are with us. Who are with us. And I think that's how Bacolod is also trying to position itself.
Right.
That they would be able to get into the mainstream as a first choice when a certain locator or when a certain service provider wanted to open up a business.
Kuya Gilbert is also a businessman. Marami siya mga questions about this. How to make business with HIMAP or sa healthcare industry, Kuya G?
Actually, that's one of the reasons why I'm going back home to the Philippines. Yun nga, may mga virtual assistants. I'm going to be meeting some of them on this trip. At the same time, it's also with healthcare doing the yung mga quality control and stuff like that. So that's the reason why I was like, hold on for a minute. This is a convention. I'm gonna
you
have to be there.
I have to be there.
You have to be there 1:30 today.
1:30 today.
I heard there's free lechon.
Is there? I missed it, Sean. I mean, don't get me started.
So hold on, is there any way, I mean, libre ba itong convention na to, or
May
is there
ticket.
a ticket, or?
The business forum is free.
For free, yeah.
It's for free, and that's actually it's supported by the Philippine government and the association at the same time. And we are more than willing to help people like you, Kuya G, coming from the association itself, because we become like a one-stop shop for those who would want to relocate to the Philippines. When it comes to say relocate, it's more of opening up a business, establish your business.
That's actually what I'm looking for as far as like a retirement job would be, just to connect.
Exactly.
That's what I'm looking at right now.
How about other Filipinos dito na gustong sumabay, especially in terms of business, para sa ngayong hapon at 1:30 at Ahern, John or Jhino?
Actually, they can join freely. They can just go to Ahern, participate. There's gonna be an open forum, which is really nice because they can actually ask directly government representatives as well as the companies present. And highlight lang in terms of other locations, we've been talking about it. It's not only Bacolod. We have for Region 1, you have San Fernando, Yupan, Lawag, Tuguegarao in Luzon as well,
Luzon.
Cabanatuan, and then Malolo City, even as far as Zamboanga City. So we have different
North to
digital
south.
cities that are really, into the healthcare industry.
I'd love to be part of this.
I even remember I would just want to jump in it before I left the Philippines, because I left the Philippines November.
We went to
Tagum.
That's in Davao.
Davao del Norte.
Yeah, it was like 2 hours away from Davao City. So we landed in Davao, and then for 2 hours we were 2 hours we were traveling, and Gina and I were there.
You were surprised.
Yeah, parang we did not expect that there's those facility and there's a property there that's more than open and ready to accept locators at the same time.
And there are a lot of hospitals already established,
Exactly.
and that's a good pull for you to
Indicator
actually
for
to
us.
start.
Yeah. When you talk about the healthcare side.
Wow.
So one area I also that I would want to highlight, and this becomes always our byline. We always get to focus on those nurses who passed the licensure. But we were not able to identify and give them opportunity also for those nurses that you don't need to become a registered nurse to be in the healthcare. Kasi sa Philippines, pag sinabi mong nurse, the only nurse that you have in mind are those that are on the bedside.
Hindi, yung pag nurse ang pinag-uusapan dyan, ang iniisip ko, yung asawa ko lang.
Perfect husband ka na.
Perfect husband talaga.
At saka yung tatlo kong anak. Pero nurse din.
Tatlong nurse ang anak niya.
Wow.
Yeah.
At saka, syempre, marami akong biyanan. 18.
Iba yun.
Parang nagulat ako dun sa 18. No, I mean,
Meron ako sa Bacolod, no? Iloilo, Bacolod,
Lumabas na! Lumabas na!
Pero ewan ko lang sa dalawang ito, Jhino and John.
And tatawag,
Amazing. They're too busy for
Anyway, mga kababayang ulang kaba, ito rin yata yung pinakahuling bahagi.
That's right, yeah. Maraming salamat.
Don't forget forum, ha? Mamaya na. 1:30.
Kaya pagkatapos dito, diretso na siguro itong dalawa sa Ahern at mag-set up. And we want to give a shout out also, by the way, to our honorary consul of the Philippines, Amy Belmonte, who's watching right now. And of course, Leo Belmonte and the rest of the Philippine government representatives who are here based in Las Vegas. Maraming salamat po. At sabi nga nila, i-promote nyo itong Philippine Business and Investment Forum. Ito na po. Talagang inaanyayahan po natin lahat ng mga kababayan natin mamayang hapon, 1:30 dito po sa Ahern Hotel.
Lahat ng mga businessmen, kung interesado kayo, drop by.
That's right.
Ahern.
Yes.
Alas 12 pa lang, may lechon na.
Patay ka. Hanapan ka ng lechon doon.
Kain tayo.
All right. We'll give you the floor, guys. We'll probably start with Jhino. So we started with Jhino a while ago, just for your tulad nga ng sinasabi ni Kuya Rex palagi, temporaring pamamaala muna at invitation. Because you'll be back here again on PHLV Radio.
So we'd like to thank PHLV for having us this morning, and to all the listeners, again, shout out to all of you. If you can join us in HIMSS Hotel this afternoon at 1:30 p.m., we would really love you to be present and listen to the opportunities, as well as address your concerns, questions, particularly on the healthcare industry. We want to highlight as well that there are a lot of government agencies present this afternoon, so you will really see how robust and steady the support of the government in terms of bringing in business investments to the country, and at the same time ensuring that there are opportunities not only in the metro but also in the countryside as well. So I think it's JD's tagline, HIMAP's tagline, but I'd like to reiterate, HIMAP, they use this tagline that they care like no other, and I think that's a very good way to really look at how the healthcare industry is bringing in the much needed business and investment for the country. So yun lang, I think that's all, and thank you again for Sir Rick, Sir Johan, and to Gilbert for having us this morning.
Okay, let's go to John Dave JD Dueñas.
So again, thank you for the opportunity and for having us today. I think what we want to highlight is that we always believe on business that is built on partnership across locations, across industry, and
Borders too.
Yes, across borders at the same time. And when we talk about healthcare, it's not just a business for us. It's actually a human responsibility. So when you talk about healthcare, the Philippines play a vital role on it.
All right.
So every time there's an insurance claim that was submitted, there is a patient that was serviced. Every time a call is being answered, there's actually someone behind the call that needs assurance that they're being covered by their insurance.
Pero hindi robot. Hindi robot yun.
Hindi robot.
Buhay.
Buhay. And then
Kasi tatanong kagad nila, are you a robot?
And I think that's pretty much how healthcare is different.
Yeah.
And again, the Philippines is creating a very strong testament that we are a vital player on this one.
Right.
So the 1:30 forum this afternoon, as what Director Jhino is mentioning, is a very big opportunity for us to work together, see where we can bring this one, and change the narrative for our professionals to leave the country, and then at the same time build a different narrative that we could build businesses even if we are in our homes.
Okay. Thank you very much, John Dave Dueñas, and of course,
Jhino
Ilano.
Thank you for having me.
Director sa Department of Information and Communications Technology.
Wow, marami salamat. Well, thank you so much. We'll see you this afternoon, 1:30 at the Ahern Hotel.
See you.
All right,
Thank
maraming
you,
salamat.
guys. Thank you. Babalik po ang Magandang Morning America. Dito pa naman sa PHLV in a short while.
And baka kasama natin, Kuya Rex, tuloy-tuloy ang usapang healthcare dito sa PHLV Radio, because we will be talking to our friends from the Global Nurses Alliance Incorporated, a new nursing organization here in Las Vegas. They had a gala a few days ago. We'll talk to them in just a little bit. Diyan lamang po kayo. You!
Magandang morning, rise and shine. Filipino pride in our hearts still shines. Magandang morning, America. Embracing our culture, every hue and color.